Hi everyone, thank you for joining me for a special edition of an I'm First Google Hangout. In this edition, we are going to chat a little bit about our newest partnership and new service for you guys from InstaEDU. So as a first gen student, I know a lot of you guys are really busy, with extracurricular activities and just filling out college applications. And also your counselors are really busy helping other students. So we wanted to chat a little bit about this new opportunity and really fun opportunity that we have with InstaEDU, which will provide you with free online virtual college. So as a student that's signed up for First, you're able to receive 2 free hours of virtual counseling. And I know as a student, you're probably like, why would that be helpful? But this is really helpful because these counselors come from across the country, and they're all really ready and really excited to help you in your college application process. So any part of the process that you're interested in getting help on, whether it's, let's say, financial aid, essays, or maybe you're not sure how to build your college list, you can use InstaEDU to utilize these counselors across the country to really help you out with these services. And as a student that signed up for First, you have the accessibility to this service. So on top of the different things that you can do on the First website, by looking at the different colleges and universities we have, checking out our Google Hangouts and our Twitter chats, we felt like this would be a cool opportunity to give you guys more and to really help you guys in your process of applying for college. And I am joined by Bob, who is with Chegg, who actually, Nc Edu is a Chegg service, and he and I are going to go through sort of a live demo of the Nc Edu website so you can really understand how to use it, because we really want you to use it and make the most of it. So I'm going to turn it over to Bob, and he's going to chat a little bit more about Chegg and Nc Edu.
Great, thanks so much, Chelsea. Thank you all for joining us this afternoon, this evening, depending upon where you are in the country. I really appreciate you taking the time out to talk with us and to learn a little bit more about this. Just to give you a quick background of myself, I actually was a first-generation college student. Neither of my parents had gone to college, and when I went through the college admissions process, I really had no idea where I was going to go. I just knew that I was going to college, and I knew that I needed to help find a way to pay for it because my mother was disabled. My father worked 3 jobs to help support the family. I actually started working when I was 13 to save up for college, and so really just trying to find that right fit, and actually had to really rely heavily on my high school basketball coach who helped me to get a athletic scholarship. My high school counselor really didn't have much time for me at all, and I didn't even know that that was the person I needed to go to because it was the guidance counselor at that time. And so I needed to find somebody that could really help me. And so I ended up with my basketball coach. I ended up going to school at the University of Pittsburgh at Bradford. At that time, we were in NAI school, and I got a partial scholarship, and then I got a work-study job to work in the admissions office as a tour guide. And ultimately, I ended up falling in love with the admissions profession, and I stayed in college admissions for about 16 years before I came to Chegg. I worked at the University of Pittsburgh for 7 years. I worked at UNC Chapel Hill for 4 years. I was the deputy director of admission at Berkeley, and then ultimately I was the director of admissions at Stanford. And all through that entire time, I always wanted to find a way to be able to make sure that I could continue to help other first-generation college students. And so when I was given the opportunity to really partner with I'm First, I said, wow, this is a great way to actually have a huge impact on students' lives, particularly when students don't necessarily get the resources and the help that they need in the process. And so I remember one student that I read when I was at Stanford. It was a student who went to North Hollywood High School in LA, and it was that this young woman was in a gifted and magnet program. And I remember reading the counselor statement from the student, and the counselor said, I do not know this student. Please see the teacher recommendation. This young woman was the #1 student in their class, had near perfect SAT scores, first generation, and was also the captain of their academic team at the school. Yet the counselor didn't know her. And I'm just thinking, wow, I wonder what other types of resources this student didn't get. So when it came to Chegg, we partnered with I'm First on a platform that's on InstaEDU. It's a company that Chegg acquired about 4 months ago that really was focused on tutoring for high school students and for college students, and tutoring in any academic subject 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. We actually have about 9,000 tutors. And so we use that same platform to deliver a college counseling session for students. And we partnered with I'm First to offer this free to all of you because it's an opportunity that we wanted to be able to give back to students. and really help them on that path. And it's as Chelsea said, it's helping with your essay. It's helping understand the college process, how decisions are made. It's understanding how to best present yourself and put your best self forward in the application process, regardless if you're applying to a super hyper selective institution or you're applying to a less selective institution in your own backyard. It's really about how do you present yourself, how do you tell your story, and particularly when you don't have anybody else that's there to help you, or when you do have somebody else, they're only able to give you 25 minutes. We're partnering with I'm First to give you up to 5 hours of free college counseling. And the college counseling really is for people like myself. I've actually worked with about 50 students in the past 2 months. And then we also have a network of about 40 other college counselors that are also, they're not only college counselors in their full-time jobs where they actually work at high schools as college counselors. A lot of these come from high schools that have a lot of resources, and they wanted to be able to give back to community of first-generation students. A lot of them are first-generation themselves. And then we also work with an organization called the National College Advising Corps, and we work with the alumni of the Advising Corps who've been serving in high schools for the last 2 years, particularly with first-generation students as well as low-income students. So these are people that know you. They know what your background is like, and they ultimately just want to help you go to college. So that's what we're trying to do. We really want you to take advantage of this, and really all it requires you to do is say, I want to get help. That's all it requires you to do, and we want to be able to deliver that help for you. And many of our counselors are available at any time of the day. I'm available basically 24/7 for the most part. We also have counselors across the country. So if you're on the East Coast and you need somebody early in the morning, you can contact somebody in California that may be working on the Nc Edu Platform before they start their workday. Or if you want to work on the weekends, or if you want to work right before the application deadlines due, you can do that. So what I'm going to do is just show you what the Nc Edu Platform looks like, and I'm going to share my screen. Is that okay, Chelsea?
Yes, absolutely. And just a heads up to those watching, as we're going through the demo, we do have a live Q&A feature available on this Google Hangout. So if you do have any questions about anything you see, feel free to shoot us a question through the Q&A, and we will be sure to answer anything toward the end of the Hangout.
So I think I'm sharing my screen right now, correct?
Yes.
These are all the students that have actually written me, that I've worked with, that are asking a bunch of different things about their applications and their essays. And what you're able to do is see these same things on your platform. So what you're seeing right now is you're seeing what I'm seeing as a counselor. I'm getting a communication stream back and forth between students. You can message to the counselor, which is, you see here where Chelsea has actually messaged me and said hello, I said hello back. Within that, you can actually schedule a lesson. So you can propose a particular time that you want to meet with that particular counselor. You can not only schedule a live session with that counselor, but you can also schedule a daily, you can schedule a weekly, you can even send a written lesson to that counselor. So you can say, hey Bob, I'd really like you to read my common application essay, or I'd really like you to read my UC application. Here's my essays, can you give me feedback on this? And you can allocate 30 minutes to the counselor to say, can you please read this and give me a feedback? And you actually don't even have to meet in person. You can do this on the web, and you can also do written lessons through our app, which is just InstaEDU, and you can download the app for free. And all you need to do is, again, type in your email address. There's no other data that's collected, and you can access the app directly on there. You can even, I can actually recommend you to other people. So if I'm not available and I say, hey, you know what, you should talk to this counselor that we have in Memphis. I think it'd be a great person. This is the suggesting the written lesson and what a student needs to do to submit that written lesson. Again, it's just uploading the document. So what I'm going to have Chelsea do right now is there is a function that you can see. If you see any of the profiles of the counselors, you can see that they have a green circle with a checkbox. That checkbox indicates that that counselor is available right now. If it's not green with a checkbox and it's just green, that means the counselor is online. They just may not be right now available on Nc Edu, but you can message them and they could easily come online. If it's yellow or it's red, obviously it means that they're not there, but you can still message them. So I think, Chelsea, you can actually meet now. Would you like to schedule that with me?
Yep.
So Chelsea's clicking meet now on her message box.
Awesome. It's sending now.
Great. And I'll get a notification that Chelsea wants to meet right now, and I can actually start the lesson. And so within the space, what you're going to be able to do is you're going to be able to chat on the right-hand side with Chelsea or with whomever it is that you're meeting with. And Chelsea's going to be able to chat right back to me. The really great thing about this is that on this side you can also upload files. So if you want to upload a PDF of your common application, or you want to upload a Word document for the council to review, you can actually upload that file directly into here. Or what you can do is you can go to this section that's called the text editor, which is in the middle of the top of the page. And here is actually a synchronous opportunity where anything you type will be automatically shared. So you can see as I am typing, Chelsea's actually can type at the same time.
And I am typing as it goes.
And there you go. So Chelsea's typing. I can actually go back in here, and as she's writing this, I could say, you know what, Chelsea, I think you misspelled hello here, and I can type
I did.
an L. Yeah.
Awesome.
So
Thanks.
I can correct that, and I can actually type an edit in there. I can also extend whatever it is that a person is writing about. I can make edits in here where I can strike through something. I can underline. I can bold. I can format. I can bullet. I can do a bunch of different things in here. And the really interesting thing about this is that after the session is over, this is saved as a recording. So you're going to be able to go back in and see, what did that Counselor Bob tell me about my essay? He made some comments about being a little bit more reflective here, or actually adding in a experience that I had of something that I was talking about that I liked about a class that I had. And you can go in and say, oh yeah, that's exactly what was meant to happen. And you can go and revisit these lessons at any time. There's also a whiteboard on here where you're able to draw whatever you want. I actually use this quite often for students that I'm trying to figure out how to calculate financial aid. Sometimes it's a little bit easier to draw that. And for this other piece, which is called the code editor, this is really for students who are working with our tutors around computer science, not necessarily for the college counseling. We're not doing too much code editing as a college counselor. Now, this also allows you to do something that you're going to hear some feedback. It's because we're on the Google Hangout as well. But it also allows you to use video and audio. So just like in the Google Hangout where you can see somebody, you can also do that in this platform. If you don't have access to a video and you don't have access to audio, what you can do is I can also, as a counselor, set up a conference call, which is a free 800 number for you to call in, and so you can have that conversation. I've actually had many conversations with students who said, I don't feel like getting on camera, I just woke up, or I just had a rough day, so can you please set up the conference call? So we can do that too. But if you set up the video, you actually will see here that here's my video, and if Chelsea's on there as a video as well, you would see her video, which would be right below my video. And the only thing that InstaEDU does not do, it actually doesn't record the video and the audio. It'll just record all of the text that you have there. Chelsea, I don't know that you need to get on or not, but there she comes.
Yeah, I should be on.
So obviously, here's the video for both of us. You can see Chelsea and I on there. So once you're done with the lesson, in the middle, sometimes you'll see that counselors will actually go in and they'll say, you know what, they asked a question about a particular school and about their deadlines, and the counselor said, you know what, I don't know the answer to that. I can actually go in and pause the lesson and go and reference whatever it is, come back and let you know, and then either the student or the counselor can end the lesson at any time. And once you end the lesson, I'll end it now. You're ending the lesson, the student actually gets a message that said, would you like to schedule another lesson? So you can do this ongoing. And again, with students at with I'm First, you get 5 hours for free. all you need to do is claim the account that I'm First has actually sent you. We have all of your email addresses to claim the account. All you need to do is enter in your email address and you get the 5 hours anytime you want them to meet with any counselor you want to meet with. So it's really a great opportunity for you. And again, you have access to this. You have access to all of the different lessons that you've had. You have access to meet with any of the counselors that we've had. So if you want to meet with somebody that's a little closer in your age and meet with one of the advising corps alumni who are in their mid-20s versus somebody as old as I am, you can do that. It's really up to you, whoever you'd like to meet with. Now, it says here this is something that you don't need to worry about. That's something for the counselor. There actually is no money that's being exchanged. But I do want to show you that this is exactly what you're going to see. So I can go back and visit the lesson. So right now you're seeing that this is exactly what Chelsea and I were typing. This is the whiteboard experience. If there's documents that are uploaded in here, you can also see them. And then we could always go back and say, hey, you know what? I'd like to schedule another lesson with you, Chelsea, and thanks for meeting with me, and schedule that whenever we need to. So that is the platform. That is our college counseling.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Bob. So we have a few questions that I wanted to pose to you. So one of the questions is, does a student have to use all of their time at once? So again, First students are able to get up to 5 free hours of virtual college counseling. How does that have to be spread out? Does the student have to use it all at once, or can it keep coming back and forth?
They can use it whenever they want to. So if they want to come in and they say, hey, you know what, I'd like to take 15 minutes or 30 minutes for somebody just to review my essay, and I want to send that as a written lesson, then that's all you need to do. You want to come back in 2 weeks from then and actually talk to somebody face to face, you can do it then too. So it's just really as long as you need it. So I think a good opportunity is to schedule a couple hours here this fall before applications are due, or over the Thanksgiving break or winter break, and then schedule a couple hours in the spring whenever financial aid season comes around and you want to talk to somebody about your financial aid package. That's something that we can do as well.
Awesome, thank you. So the next question is the student able to talk to the same counselor, or do every time they log in, are they speaking with a different counselor?
No, so they have the option. So I've had some students that have worked directly with me, and then there's been times where I wasn't available when the student actually needed somebody, and another counselor was, and so they chose to meet with that person. I think most of our counselors are pretty good at keeping schedules. I actually spoke to a student today during my lunch hour. It was during the student's lunch hour, and we spoke for about 45 minutes from 12:15 to 1 today. And so it's really if the counselor's available and the student wants to talk, and they just schedule it, and they can ask them, and then the counselor can also say, you know what, I'm not available at 3 o'clock today, but I'm available at 4. And they can propose a different schedule, and the student can either accept that or propose another time, back and forth.
Okay, awesome. So one other question is, in regards to personal information, how is that sort of kept secret? So I guess this student is referring to, let's say, if a student is working with a counselor on their financial aid package, personal kind of taxes and financial information may possibly be shared. So what is that process like?
All this information is completely confidential with the counselor. This is just like talking with your high school counselor, unless there's something that you need us to look into. I actually worked with a young woman who, about 3 weeks ago actually, from San Francisco, who decided that she was coming out and was coming out in her college application. And so nobody else knew in her family, and so she was asking me how to best approach this situation. That's something I will completely keep close to my chest and will not reveal that to anybody. So that sort of information is very confidential. Unless you need us to share for whatever reason, we won't share that with anyone.
Awesome. Great. And last question, can students' parents have access to this, or their mentors or their other counselors? Is there a way that supporters can access this information as well, or is it just strictly for students?
Yeah, I mean, I think it's really the student's account to do what they want with it. And so if they want to give it to their parents to have a session, or join them in a session, or one of their mentors to join them in a session. I've had parents join me in a session. I've had parents that have been messaging, because there is a functionality for parents to actually have an account within InstaEDU. and so you can schedule those sessions. Or getting on camera. I've got on camera with a mom and her son he was applying to Stanford, and she just wanted to be there to listen in. And then I've had a mom and a daughter from Texas that I've been working with, and she was applying to Baylor. Her mom really wanted to apply to TCU. She really wants to go to Baylor, and so mom was still listening just to make sure that TCU was still mentioned in the conversation, even though she really wanted Baylor. So
Yeah.
yes, absolutely.
Okay, awesome. So thank you all for the great questions. They were really good questions, and I hope we answered them to as greatly as we could. So that pretty much wraps up our Google Hangout. Thank you so much, Bob, for taking the time out and demoing InstaEDU. It's a really cool, really amazing service, and we really hope that all of the students that are signed up on First really take advantage of it. As Bob said, they have a ton of counselors ready and just waiting for you guys to hop on and start asking questions about your process. But again, thank you so much for joining the Hangout. If you have any questions about anything that you've heard on here that you weren't able to ask a question about, or you may think of something later, feel free to reach out to me. My email address is chelsea@imfirst.org. Bob, if you wanted to share your info, you can.
Sure, absolutely. My email address is rpatterson@chegg.com, or you can always instant message me on the InstaEDU platform. So you can just message me, and I answer that all the time because it's tied directly to my email and to the app on my phone.
Awesome. Great. Well, you have our information, and we hope you guys have a great rest of your day. Bye.
Bye. Thanks.